Now, all this is predicated on, come back, spacing, defining the geography, but then decision making. You don't want to make decisions for them. You want to give them the information so they can make worthwhile decisions. There's a big difference between that. We don't want to make the decisions for them. We're trying to define what the best opportunities for success are, then they might need to make decisions. So some of you would have been exposed to the concept of split kick extra. Split kick extra is not to define their decisions. It's to put them in positions where they can make decisions. So for example, at the end of the break there, we'll go this way, girls. So you be the handler, quick. All right, who's the running post? All right, cross the street. All right, now you're going to you can get baseline drive if Alex, is late there. You can rip baseline drive. Alex, you play on her, get in there. You play on her shadow, in here, play on her shadow. Then you've got kick. So she's created the split, gets a diagonal, the extra. Now, it's her decision what to do. I was watching a game this morning and the coaches were doing a terrific job of getting to this, and it always resulted in a three-point shot. It always resulted in a three-point shot. They don't have the tools to shoot 30, 40 threes a game. We want three-point spacing, not necessarily always three-point shooting. There is a big difference. So on this, as it comes out, you've got three. Your only decision is catch and shoot or catch and pass. Your decision, because we've shifted it, is catch and shoot, catch and drive, then catch and pass. So again, I'm not making her decision, I'm defining the parameters in which she can play under. So now, I actually don't like this shot. And it sounds funny, everyone gets giddy with extra pass and then someone rips into a three. It doesn't get made at the percentage that people necessarily think, because we've defined the kids that they shoot it regardless. They shoot it regardless. Oh, split kick extra, beauty. I get an open three. I can shoot this without any ramifications because I've followed the rules, right? I think this is far better. On that extra, I close out. Again, we want to get into flow game, penetrate. You're moving, Al. You're flying the corner. You're making a read. And then we're going from there. That shot is 20% better than that shot. So you've got to define what you want to do, right? Again, when you teach these things, whether it's split kick extra or the 5 Ds, and we'll walk through that in a sec here, it's helping them as a tool, helping them to make a decision, not making the decision. That makes sense? Any shot that goes in is a good shot. People will argue with that, but it's true, right? How many times in a game has a kid made a shot and you've said, get her out of there. Don't take that shot ever again. Unless you're Bobby Knight, that's not happening. All right? So 1, be consistent, but 2, give them the tools to define what's a good shot, define how to create a good shot and play. So let's talk now a little bit about how we go from transition into the next part of what we're doing. We'll just stay here. So where's our guard? You're it? So if we haven't got anything, we said we want to kick it ahead. Now, early in the possession, we want to play high, wide, and deep. High, wide, and deep. So we haven't got anything. We haven't got layups. We haven't got the running post. Now, your only job in life is to fill a corner. Your only job in life is to fill a corner. Corner means corner. First thing we want to do once we realize we don't have fast break, so primary break, is widen the wedge. So we've given her a point of geography is seam to seam. As soon as you realize it's half court, widen the wedge. Same with you. So you go down on the net, Alex. The trail we would have playing through the seam. As soon as she realizes that it's half court offense, she wants to widen the wedge. Why do we want to do that? What's one of the most important elements in offense? Did you say spacing? Spacing. All right, the great Bob Knight. Offense is spacing, spacing is offense. We want to create overt spacing, so we want to play high, wide, and deep. For years, we taught high and wide. You know, not so long ago, playing in the corners or having someone in the corner was the devil's handiwork, right? We wanted to be high and wide. We wanted to create more spacing. Well, if I bring her to here, have I created more spacing or have I taken space away? And then this becomes swampland. When's the last piece of swampland you bought? Right? We don't want it to be swampland. We want it to be really fertile ground that we can build big houses and farms on. So fill that. So now we've got a lot of spacing here for the defense to navigate. We've widened the spacing here. We've widened it here. People say, well, now the passes are too big. Right? This is offense. It's dynamic. We're not asking her to go to the corner and never move. We're asking her to go to the corner, create space, and then play. And everything that you do in teaching offense, whether it's overt structure, flex, triangle, shuffle, whatever, don't get them to go to a spot and that's the end of it. Give them the geography, and that's when we started. Define the geography of the floor, but then give them tools to operate in that geography. So, what do we do with our post player? Now, a lot of people now don't believe post play is a big part of offense. I think that's crazy, but there's smarter people than me that believe it. So, she's run the floor, hasn't got anything. If we're going to turn her away, often we would turn it and we'd say, go to the opposite block. Well, if you're going to do that, you might as well get them to go to the ball side block. Because here, they're like an ashtray on a motorcycle. Right? Completely superfluous to needs. They're in the road, they don't give us anything there. Right? So, if you're going to step them away, drop them to the box. Get them to come stand here in what we used to call the short corner and see the floor. What has that done to spacing? It's created overt spacing there, hasn't it? Look at the difference between this and this. But what's it done to spacing? It's taken hers away. What have you got to do? Move. Genius. Now we've got a lot of spacing. Where have we got overt spacing? You'd be here. First side or second side? If you're going to move the post player away, you better attack that first side. If you're not going to post them, you better have some stuff here. So what are our options here? Well, look at this, prime real estate. As she comes with a head of steam, she can beat me to the outside, or we call line drive, looking for layup, As that happens, once she breaks the foul line, you're lifting, all right? You're cracking in or reading it, and then you fill back that corner. So we've got that in the shadow of the penetration, we've got that, or we've got that. So the 5 Ds. Come back. So she beats me, she's the driver. She's the dunker. She's on the drift. She's diagonal. She's dragging behind. We're playing offense. And we're making decisions from then. Now, on the kick ahead to that, we've got split kick extra. So you've got one of 2 decisions to make. Catch and shoot, catch and pass. If you catch and drive, now this is where we've got to realize that basketball's not a game of opposites. Quick story, our under-17 men played Puerto Rico last year at a World Championship. They were an elite penetrating team. They drive baseline, kick it out to the corner. Our kids have come through the split kick extra regime. So they would close out, defend the shot. Why? She's not allowed to drive. Under the rules, she's not allowed to drive. Guess what? Puerto Rico didn't get the email. I come, she just rips my backside. We're like, whoa, 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 no, come back, you need to pass the ball there. Again, they're speaking Portuguese, they don't even know what we're talking about. And it took our kids a long time to realize that, basketball's not a game of absolutes. While we prefer this because it's good spacing, if it's me, non-athlete, her athlete, and I'm flying at her, what's the common sense thing to do? Drive. Some of you know Damien Cotter. He's got a great saying. The obvious thing to do is usually the obvious thing to do. Right? So when we say we never want this person to re-penetrate, never say never. Don't say don't, try not to say try, and never say never. Give them the parameters, but let her make a decision. Now, if she does shift it, you've got shot first always, but your next one is drive, because then we're going to create it. So and on that drive, is it better for you to go that way or that way? That way. There's more space. And now we're having a geography lesson. Right, that's what I'm saying about that. You don't have to call it that, but you've got it, because if she goes here, it doesn't make much space. But again, the Puerto Rico example, if I close out here, what's the obvious thing to do? Straight line drive and go. All right? But if she gets a flow drive, you're on the move again, you're already in your spots, you're dragging out. All right? Go from there. So what I want you to do, come here, all girls come up here with me, quick. Ball here, ball here. Right, those 5. So lane runners on halfway, we're going this way. Lane runner, guard, who's the run and post? Al? All right, and you're the trail, you start behind. So what I want you to do is you're going to flow into early offense. As soon as you realize we haven't got a layup or a deep catch, what have you got to do? WTW. Widen the wedge. Create overt space. So you've got to widen your wedge. You've got to widen your wedge. What's your only job in life when you realize we don't have layup? Corner. Corner. All right, makes sense? But you don't widen the wedge until you realize it's ready. And you've got to score minimum on the second side. So you take whatever you want, but it's got to get to the second side of the floor. Play. Let's go, girls. All right. That was pretty good offense? No? We didn't define what we wanted to do. And where did it fall down? Who made it fall down? And it's not to embarrass her. The point guard. Because after she gave it up, what did she do? Nothing. She meandered. All right? So again, we've got to give her a decision what she's going to do. So after you give it up, we realize we haven't got anything. You've got one of three things that you can do. You can bounce and flow. You be up here. Quick. Ball. Get on the wing for me. Get on the wing for me. If I give it up early, I can do one of three things. All right? I can go, and if my man's sinking, I can stop, get it back, and go flow game. Early flow game. And that's what we spoke about, two-touch basketball. Get them a second chance. If you've got an elite guard, just think it's some of the easy. You know what we want to do? We want to ball screen guards all the time. I watched a game 2 weeks ago in Victoria, and there was one team, it was under 14s, they set 60 pick and rolls, 22 were for one kid. Player development 101, all right? Was the kid really good? Outstanding. Outstanding kid. Is he going to be any good? Probably not. Whose fault? The coach, all right? 22 ball screens. He's that good that all he had to do is kick it up early, run a little bounce cut, again, outside hand, forward pivot, we're ripping, now we're playing. He can get this without a pick and roll. I'm not saying that pick and roll is the devil, and I'm not saying that pick and roll is not really important in transition offense. But there's a lot they can do before that. So, ball there. When she kicks it, she can yell bounce. And I know, I'm just going bang, and her next job, she's got to create flow. Middle. You got to, middle, yeah. All right? Why does she not want to go middle? Left hand. You can't dribble with both hands, you can't play. Can't play fast anyway. All right? So she's got that. She's got kick it early, and she's through. So her defender jumps to the ball, she's going through, I'm looking at give and go, and then she's going through. So her job becomes fill corner. Or she's kicking it, they don't jump to the ball, she tries to basket cut, and then she exits. Or some people X cut. So she can bounce, she can through, she can X. A lot of people are doing this now because they're worried about the point guard not getting the ball back. If you run them through and you get them in that corner, 24-second shot clock, when do they get it back? They get it back in the laundry. It's dirty clothes. You're giving them dirty clothes to go out for the night. You've got to make sure that they can get their second touch quicker. So what they tend to do is V away. So she's giving it up. I've got it here. She gets the foul line and replaces there. That player comes to here. Bang. Look when she gets it back. She gets it back earlier. So you V away. But again, define what I set her up for a fall deliberately the first time. I didn't give her any options what to do. So what did she do? Nothing, in essence. Now, she's a really bright kid, so she tried to work her way through it, but I hadn't given her the geography of the court. Through, X, bounce, V away. Right? If you've got a guard that can play off the through cut, off the bounce cut, off the X cut, off the V away, that's an elite guard. Then you start talking about ball screens. Now you got a chance for them to be really good. But if you come down and all they're doing is putting their fist up, come get me every time, that'll help them for as long as they're better than their opponent. That methodology will help them right through up, as long as they're better than their opponent. As soon as they're equal with their opponent, it won't help them anymore. Right? So now, if we can define that guard that can play off 1, 2, 3, 4 things before the pick and roll, imagine how good they are when the pick and roll comes. Good luck. So for example, come back. She's been sustained running. She's V'd away, and this is V away. Come back, my friend. This is the fourth quarter of the game where she's kicked it ahead. She's kicked it ahead. She's hit a corner. She's through the corner. She's bounced and created flow. Now, fourth quarter, fatigue, she bounces away, send it, go get pick and roll. Now it's a knockout blow. Now it's a knockout blow. We didn't try and land our haymaker in the first 2 minutes of the game. We got sustained running, we defined the geography of the floor, then we get into more strategy. Again, not saying pick and roll is not a very good strategy. Of course it is. At elite games, there's 80, 90 pick and rolls a game. But that's only after the kids have gone through their journey to be able to understand the geography of the floor, be able to pass and pivot. What's one of the first things we spoke about in creating transition? The ability to forward pivot. Right? I had a coach say to me last week, oh, that's not realistic. It was realistic for Steve Nash. I don't know. And is Steve Nash an athletic freak of nature? No. Is Matthew Dellavedova an athletic freak of nature? No, he's just some kid from Maryborough. But his detail in that allows him to play fast. Now you get someone like Pat Mills, who is an athletic freak of nature and has great detail and understands the geography of the floor and has great footwork. Now you got one of the top 5 players of the World Championships. All right? You may not get to coach that, but you can work towards that. All right. Now, let's give me 5 people up again. Quick corner. So, where's Al? So if Al goes to this box, yeah, you've got to lift. You've got to widen your wedge. All right? You in? Yep. Right, so if she's in this box, you have to lift out of the corner, but you don't want to go that far. You want to be at the kink. Yeah, you want to be at the kink there. So now, not fantastic spacing, but not bad. Overt spacing, and this is our attack spacing here. All right?